Welcome to another great episode of the Middle Easy Fight Fist podcast. I am your host, Necklace and Reckless, Dan Lamort.
Yeah, we'll see if it's great. You know, I'm not putting any money on it yet.
And that is a voice that the fans at one time loved.
How quickly I've fallen. Hey, it's me, Diego Lopez. I love you so much.
And this is your old Papa Luke Tuma. Here.
Papa Luke Tuma.
I like that.
Now we need a nickname for you, Necklace and Reckless, Papa Luke,
I'm not going to give it to myself.
Dirty Diego.
Dirty.
We are here in
alliteration.
the laundry room of a deli in the financial district of New York City.
The West Bank Gourmet Deli, which has been in the Lamort family for 20 years, in which I worked at.
Very impressive.
Also, this little deli is, this little storage room is a room I have slept in many nights.
Dude, that's kind of sick.
When I was a Barker, New York, I didn't have time to go home because I was also selling tickets in the morning in Times Square. So I would have to sleep here, sell tickets, then go bark, then come back and sleep on a laundry
Jeez.
machine.
Dude, I would live here with no
You know what the
questions
problem
asked.
is?
Oh, right,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Dude, if I put a mattress down here, I wouldn't even have a problem
I have a
with it.
cot in the corner. But you know what the problem is? These lights don't turn off.
That's like prison.
It
Yeah, you'll go
fucks
crazy.
me up,
No, the prison's
man.
turn off. I mean, I lived in the gym for a little while, and the lights in the hallway don't turn off, but I'm around the corner almost. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the lights not turning off really ruined every night. And also before I had the cot, I slept on the washing machine and the dryer, so I would like kick it and it would turn on. And you wake up and it's just bright and you're like, what am I doing with my life?
the dryer turns on, and you get all horny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
how
something
women,
about it
I
just
think,
was so
sit on
erotic.
dryers.
Yeah, it was just
Oh, yeah, sitting
No
on
one
dryers.
tells
That's the thing.
yeah. So nice MMA talk up front. No, it's a nice deli. Come on, we ate here minus Diego because he's healthy and everything. And
Hello.
this deli's not that healthy.
I had a Lady Gaga sandwich, which is a chicken cutlet with prosciutto and cheese and balsamic and roast
Yeah.
red peppers. It was fucking phenomenal.
That's great.
So it was
Yeah.
one of the best sandwiches I've had. I've only had
It's,
the first half.
ooh.
though.
I started working
Second
when I
half
was
is-
12 years old.
Jesus.
My favorite memory here ever was when I was 16. I brought my girlfriend at the time because she wanted extra money to work a day. And she was making a pot of coffee, and she dropped the whole pot on the floor. And thinking, like, we would all be nice about it, me and my dad looked at each other and were like, fuck! Like, we really just made her feel like shit for
Right.
dropping the coffee.
Yeah.
But
I bet she didn't drop another pot, did she?
No, now she's a nuclear scientist or
No,
some shit. So
that's
we
what she
taught her
learned.
well.
Yeah,
She'll
exactly.
make a cup of coffee, but
You're
boy,
welcome.
can she mix whatever they mix. In.
Neutrons?
Yeah, protons.
There you go.
I don't know. Sheldon Cooper, Big Bang Theory. Who knows what she's doing out in L.A. Shout
Big Bang
out.
Theory, Silicon Valley.
That's another
Oh.
show.
Yeah,
What
it's
that's a
another-
transition, huh?
Yeah, it was a pretty good transition, right?
Yeah.
Because Papa met Papa Luke met
This is
TJ
how you
Miller.
know the podcast is starting to get listeners because he's calling himself Papa Luke now.
Papa
Outside of the intro.
Yeah, that's great.
Papa Luke met TJ Miller today. I'm I have a day job where I work as a gardener, and I was gardening on his neighbor. I think he was moving into a new place near the village.
Yeah, he lives here now.
Yeah, and
It's
he
so
was,
weird because I feel like if we had a poll with the fans, which one of us worked in gardening, they'd probably point to me.
I think they'd point.
But
to
I thought you were
Diego.
going to make a racist joke to me.
Really?
Oh,
I
really?
guess lumber would be me.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna make a joke about like you being vegan
Spanish.
and very healthy.
Oh, see, this
Gardening
joke can
seems
go
like
anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really
What
can.
a beautiful joke.
Why would they think you?
I think
'Cause,
the
like-
Because you're so
flannel,
red?
Gardening, trees. I
All
don't know.
right.
They just
Trees are my thing. Lumber. If it was lumber oriented, I would take the cake.
All right.
I would think that Diego would be planting and you'd be eating whatever he plants.
Here, eat this.
I'm really good at digging holes. I found. And
Okay.
those- Not through murder, but when I had to work on like stuff, I would be like, here's a shovel. Just dig that.
Yeah, that's fine. Wait, how was TJ? What did you talk to him?
I just said I'm a comic and I said, hey TJ, I'm a comic. My name's Luke, and he like shook my hand. He was nice. He looked a little flustered.
What?
he's
That's
got-
crazy.
Yeah, he's got crazy eyes.
Was he not throwing water bottles on his face?
Yeah.
He was like he's got these crazy eyes.
Yeah.
But then I watched. He walked like another 20 feet down the street, and like 3 more people kept recognizing.
Yeah,
him,
he's a
like,
very
20 feet.
specific looking person.
Yeah, I saw.
He's a
him.
very tall.
Dude, I saw him from like 300 feet away. Like he was all the way down. He was like down the street, and
Yeah.
I like just saw his like his chin, and I was like, "That's fucking TJ Miller." And he got close. I was like, "Yep, it's TJ Miller."
Yeah.
He's-
Was he wearing a hat?
Yes, he was.
Nah, I got it.
Hat,
he's
curly hair,
Yeah.
whole nine.
He was like doing that Wario facial hair for a little
no,
while.
he's just got a regular.
My
scruff
favorite
now.
TJ Miller story that I had ever witnessed
It's
was
gonna get dark.
no, it's actually hysterical.
We killed a man.
He started
Yeah.
working the cellar pretty late in his career. So
You worked the cellar too.
Well, I wasn't even going to say this. But no, there was one night where TJ goes on stage, and this was, I don't know if he still does it, but he explodes a lot of bottles of water. And the cellar has a very low ceiling. So the water was getting all over the place. So
Yeah.
then, someone else goes up next, fine. Then Ryan Hamilton's on stage,
Mm-hmm.
who's the most quiet, laid-back act. And he's just telling jokes, and then you just see water start dripping on Ryan's
Oh,
head.
because it hit the ceiling and kind
Yeah,
of collected.
from the ceiling.
Oh,
so
man.
Ryan had to do a whole set just getting TJ Miller's water dripped on his head.
God damn it.
I wish it was someone crazy that was getting dripped on, like Rick Shapiro or something. Like, what the fuck is that? Like screaming.
I love Rick Shapiro.
I think it's more fun to see someone who's going to keep it controlled. But as a comic, you see that every punchline he's getting hit with a driplet. He's just like, I hate my life.
Motherfucker.
Bobby Kelly, like, dude, this fucking water, dude.
Yeah.
Rick Shapiro, shout out. Not
Yeah.
doing well.
Oh,
Stay strong, Ricky boy.
Sick or something, right?
Yeah, he's in the hospital by my house.
we're
Like
rooting
10 minutes
for
from me.
Oh, well.
Should probably go visit him.
let's all go
So
visit him.
Tony Ferguson was.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get
Well,
to
the-
MMA talk.
People don't know Rick Shapiro is. He's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
In a lot of other countries, minus this one. But
If you watched Lucky Louie, he was the
Or Louis. He was on Louis, too.
He's on
or
Louis too?
Project X, he was the crazy drug dealer named T. Rick. Quite possibly one of my favorite characters of any teen movie.
You ever hear the Stanhope story about Shapiro?
Oh yeah.
In Alaska, there was some club that
Yeah.
Stanhope used to do. It's like this amazing club, and they asked him for a recommendation, like, who do you want to send? We'd like some recommendations because we love your comedy so much. Like, send up some of your favorites. And instead of thinking like who would be good for these like people that live in Alaska, these quaint people that come to this comedy club, Stanhope was just like, well, Rick Shapiro's my favorite comic. Rick Shapiro, he's great, and just told him that and didn't explain who Rick Shapiro is. And he gets a call that night, and they're like, yeah, Doug. So Rick, we're gonna let him stay in the hotel, but he's not allowed to come on stage anymore.
Wow.
And like one of his buddies was there and said like 20 minutes into the set, people were getting trampled because there was such a stampede to the back door.
Oh my
Like
god.
they were running from the stage. That was like the first night of this guy's stand-up
They were,
recommended.
they were that scared of him?
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
Because I've heard stories
I
of
mean, he
what
looks like
Stanhope
it.
used to do at that club, and it was insane. So that just shows you of what I did a benefit show for Shapiro one time because he has Parkinson's, and he went up and did a set at the end, and his whole set was dedicated to making fun of other famous people with Parkinson's, like how Michael J. Fox shouldn't be the poster boy for it because all he does is he's like, yeah, he shakes, but he just shakes his hand to his servants on where to move his food.
That's great.
And I was like, that's a great bit from someone with Parkinson's
Yeah.
to another
Yeah.
person with Parkinson's. And
I
he was
know.
just he's a sweetheart of a man, Rick.
Yeah.
And a legend of comedy.
Well,
so
shout
get
out
better,
to Rick Shapiro.
Rick.
Get better, Rick.
Yeah.
Let's. You
Hashtag.
want to hop into the MMA stuff?
I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, this will be released probably the day before 223.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So there's a
So-
lot to talk. I mean, obviously the big one is the Ferguson injury,
The
which was one of the craziest injury stories I've heard.
I don't believe the story. I
You don't
think it's-
believe that it happened on the set of the UFC production?
No, I think it's bullshit. I don't think that happened. I don't think that he tripped over a cable where he's wearing sunglasses indoors, and that's what pulled his LCL off of
Well,
the
what
bone
happened
of
was
his
he had
knee.
seen a friend he hadn't seen in a while, so he had a little excitement in his step.
Yeah, that's what they said. I don't believe that.
You know how many times I've seen a friend I haven't seen in a while, and I'm unathletic, and I'm still able to get there
Yeah.
No way.
and say hello.
Yeah, and they were like, it's a freak accident. You know, most of these tears, like, you could still walk on it, but he has to get surgery, and that only happens if the ligaments pulled completely off the bone. And it's like, I don't even know how that would happen through a trip. Did you see the videos of his training?
Well,
He
they're-
was-
those sets are off the edge of a mountain. they do shoot those shows just right out the edge. The fucking man just
His
rolled.
defense, he was training for Khabib. He wasn't training for an electrical cord.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. They're like-
It's a different strategy.
He's got a 9-fight win streak and a 1-fight losing streak against electrical cords.
I would now that we talk about it out loud, the story does sound so far.
It's ridiculous, dude. Did you see the videos of his training? He was kicking full kicks, like metal pillars.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like he was grabbing metal pipes and he was going, "Look at this shit!" And he was kicking them. He has people like kick him in his stomach. He does these insane. He punches trees and stuff, like to get his like legs and his fists and stuff.
People
like
in his
kind of
camp
calloused
had
up.
said that he was training like no fighter had ever trained before for a fight. He
Did
was-
you see the videos?
Yeah.
it was fucking
And
insane.
they said there was things that they weren't even showing, that he was just doing stuff that no one has really done for fight prep. And then that's a shame because I think it would have given him a good run for his money.
I do too. But that's why I think because of how hard he went in training, he tore his LCL. Your LCL doesn't tear off your bone because you tripped over a cord. Like,
yeah, but then wouldn't he rather people be like, yeah, he got hurt working really hard?
no, because everybody saw the videos of him kicking pipes, so he looks like an idiot. It's like, oh yeah, he kicked pipes and fucked up his.
true.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
know?
when you make it the excuse so much so silly that it's like, oh, that can happen to anybody. But you're a professional. You should be training professionally, and you purposely did something kind of ridiculous and you got hurt doing it. It's like, well, that's not as
Let's
that
put
is
our money where our
is
mouth is.
easy.
Who's gonna be the first one to kick this washing machine?
I'll kick the shit out of the thing.
No, but you're right about like that you don't want to seem stupid.
Yeah.
So, dude, we had a kid growing up that did this, but he had a child when we were like 16. He got his girlfriend pregnant.
Nice.
And the story we all
My
tell
man.
was like, did you hear Nick? Dude, Nick, he fucked her with a condom. And she still got pregnant. We used to all talk about that. My buddy Ben, shout out to Ben, was great. He's great. He goes, yeah, he's just lying.
Yeah.
And we were like, what do you mean? No, dude. He fucked her with the condom. She still got pregnant. He was like, no, dude. He just doesn't want to seem like an idiot, so he lies to us and dude, the condom didn't
Right,
work.
exactly,
And
yeah.
I was like, God, you're so right. Like,
Yeah.
we're idiots for believing it.
Exactly.
So that Tony Ferguson is the guy who knocked up his girlfriend in this scenario.
Absolutely.
He is
And-
the Nick Braun of this situation. Shout out
Absolutely.
to Nick
Full names. And let's just say that actually is how Ferguson got injured. That's what you get for wearing sunglasses indoors.
Yeah.
Never do that. Are you fucking stupid? Are you Blade? What are you doing?
Dude, you know what's funny is that's a great point. And he even thought like, oh, I'll sound stupid just for wearing sunglasses indoors. And when they asked him about it, he was like, yeah, I was wearing my prescription shades. Like, he had the same prescription.
They're transition
Yeah, he
lenses.
did say he was like, these are doctor approved.
Yeah,
the fuck out of
prescription
here.
shades.
I feel like he fell, rolled, and started trying to eat the sunglasses so no one knew. Like,
yeah,
ugh.
and you can
Get
tell.
rid of the drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Flush this on the toilet, please.
Dude, Eddie Bravo is on Rogan. You can tell how many times they use the term freak accident. That you know they've been prepping for this. He's like, it's just one of these freak accidents, dude. It's like, no,
Dude,
it's not.
fuck Eddie Bravo, man. I'm so sick of his conspiracy theory bullshit. It's so insulting. It's
Beef in the
ridiculous.
jujitsu trainer community.
Oh man, because he's also said. I mean, I didn't listen to the whole thing, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But
Yeah.
he was saying about how the Parkland shooting was like, what do they call it? Like
Crisis act.
crisis act. Just like, dude, go fuck yourself, man. That's ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was getting into that.
Yeah, and it's like again, I didn't listen to the whole thing, so I don't want to get too into it. But I just think
It's, like, it's
a
also
fucking
the running joke. Like, where have you seen that many good young actors?
yeah. It's maybe because I'm from that specific area, I'm a little more emotional about it. But it just really pissed me off.
So Diego, not an Eddie Bravo fan.
Not a huge Eddie Bravo's conspiracy theory fan.
I agree with that. I'm
That's
not
all it
either.
is. That's all it
I
is.
like Kyrie Irving, but I don't like that he's a flat earther.
Right,
so.
exactly. So Ferguson is out,
Ferguson's a big fucking liar.
and of
he's
course, like anyone else would expect, they choose the 45 champ to step in and fight. Which, fuck it, man. Take note from Pride. Freak show fights are what sell. That's what people want to see, not
Also,
logical
I'm
fights.
gonna bet on it.
You're gonna bet on it?
Put money on Holloway.
Nice. If
He
you
opened at too big of odds for me not to. He opened up at a plus 400 underdog.
okay, I don't know.
So-
I'm a betting man, and I still have no idea what that means.
Okay. I just know plus means
I
it's
think
underdog.
plus means if I put a couple hundred on him and he wins, I'll be wealthy.
So what?
hope.
You're right about the freak show fight selling, and I also think why I like the Holloway pick is because, and I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but I feel like in my head, the Ferguson was the biggest competition for Khabib outside of Conor, and then if Ferguson pulls, you want Conor to come in, but that's not going to happen, and you think who's the next greatest challenge to Khabib, and in my head, probably Holloway. Honestly, is the guy who when I think about who's got the best chance of beating Khabib in this scenario, who's just a winner, who's well rounded, who matches up well stylistically with
Doobu
Khabib.
Choi.
It's Holloway to me.
I agree because my immediate thought was either was going to be Eddie Bravo or Eddie. God damn it, Eddie Alvarez. He's in my head now.
in your head.
Eddie Alvarez.
Diego just wants to see Khabib beat the shit out of
I
Eddie
would
Bravo.
love to see. Yeah.
Where's your fucking crisis actors now?
Rubber guard your way out of this. Eddie Alvarez, but then remembering that Conor KO'd Eddie, but Conor and Max went to decision.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like a good argument for letting Holloway step in and take that
I
fight.
feel
Other
bad
than
'cause on this exact podcast, Iaquinta said he wanted the fight. If
Yeah,
that
Al
happened.
wanted to do it, but they're not going to do that.
Al,
They hate
Al was kind of unsure the fight was going to happen. He was like, "I'll step in to do it,"
Yeah.
but I guess Dana White doesn't listen to our podcast.
That's the last thing
What?
Dana.
Yeah.
That's
Son
the
of a
last
bitch.
thing
Tell me
Dana
he's
wants
not
too.
one of our 15 listeners in Kenya.
we have so many listeners. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Oh, how about a few people hashtagged
Yeah,
us?
thank you
this
guys
week.
for the
That's
for the
pretty
We
sick.
got
Twitter
a
love,
few
man.
hashtag Wacos, which means people listen to the end.
Hashtag Waco.
Yeah, we'll do a weekly hashtag.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly it dies. That's gonna be the same 4 people every week.
Yeah, hey, I love those 4 people.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Let's not jump too quickly off of this. So Holloway versus Khabib.
Who also looks like Dwight Schrute's cousin Mose from The Office.
Oh, that's
It's
too
been
deep of a
said
cut for me.
It's been said so many times, but the resemblance is uncanny, and I can't get it out of my head now. Are you not an Office fan?
No, I really don't like. I think Steve Carell is so good at that role.
Yeah.
I can't watch it.
That's
Like
one way to put it.
he's so unbearable of a human being. I'm like, I don't want to watch someone that I don't like. But I don't know if you got a chance to watch BJJ Scouts. Okay, that's great. That's exactly what it looks like. He's Dan's showing me a picture of a man.
He does look like Khabib.
It's hilarious. BJJ Scout put out a really good breakdown of Max versus Khabib, and it's
Yeah.
like he's like, yeah, this stylistically makes a lot of sense. And it's like if Max has great lateral movement, he probably won't commit to combinations, and Khabib's gonna try to run him into the fence. Max will use his jab well. Like he's like, it's probably gonna be a very good fight. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sold. I'm gonna watch
He's
it.
also one of the best strikers while moving backwards.
Yeah, he's
And-
like that
and-
Chuck Liddell,
Exactly.
but like a little more control, less punching from the waist,
Yeah.
more from the chamber.
It's been
Totally.
very surprising to see how many people are writing Holloway off 150% right away.
Yeah,
And it's like I'm like, yeah, but he's still a champion.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are writing off a champion very quick.
who walked through Aldo twice.
Yeah.
Like
I think
I get it, Khabib. I mean,
I think it's the short notice is the main reason why they're writing.
yeah,
him
the
off.
short
6
notice.
days is such short.
A 6-day weight cut is going to be really intense. But it's also like people love buying into the hype train in MMA more than anything. And don't get me wrong, Khabib's fucking phenomenal. Like I've had friends text me, they're like, "How do you expect Holloway to beat the best lightweight of all time?" I'm like, "Are you really ready to call him the best of all time?"
I mean, that's a lot. And it's like Max's nutritionist George Lockhart says like this is gonna be the biggest cut he's ever done. Like a 6-day cut. Like I don't know how much Max is walking around at to
He
cut.
said 171. So
That's
he's,
like
he's cutting 16 pounds in 6 days.
that doesn't seem that crazy to me. Like
But it's probably because he's.
That shows you how
He
different
hasn't
we
been-
are athletically.
good point.
But the cut probably you have to.
It should
you have
start
to prep
earlier.
so
Yeah,
far
absolutely.
out.
That's fair. Absolutely. But it's like also you fight at 45. How much you? All right, that's a lot. But whatever.
I think McGregor cuts around the same amount.
Yeah, dude, that's
It's
crazy.
insane. I mean, Rumble used to fight
At
at
70.
170. That's fucking insane. That means he was probably cutting 45 pounds.
He was cutting 300, 400, 500 pounds. He was an enormous man. No, he's very
Have you seen the
impressive.
pictures of him now?
Yeah, I can't stop looking at him.
Oh my god, he's
What a
massive.
fucking hunk.
He looks
Jesus.
like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, I mean he is a bodybuilder. Like,
So
he's-
what do you think's gonna happen in the fight?
that's the thing. I've really been trying to rack my brain with this because like we did those predictions, and I'm like I'm sticking with my prediction actually with the same one I would have had with Tony, but it's like I wouldn't be that surprised if Max can clip him. Because Khabib will rush people, especially when he gets frustrated. Like I'm not that
I still
surprised.
did the same prediction too. 3rd round knockout by Holloway.
Yeah,
The same exact prediction.
This is kind of a weird thing. I almost feel part of me feels more confident in Holloway beating Khabib than Ferguson beating Khabib.
yeah.
Right?
I
Holloway's
got that.
such a fucking he's so solid. There's not really many weak points to his game. He's an absolute winner. He's fearless. He's got a hell of a fucking chin on him.
I also
You know,
love that he's from Hawaii.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's a badass, and he's got that mentality, a mentality that could beat someone who is as invincible seeming as Khabib. You know, and he just, not that Ferguson doesn't have that, but I just trust Holloway as a winner. I trust him as a well-rounded fighter, as someone who's you could throw in with the sharks, and he's going to be able to swim.
Yeah, he's
My
gonna get his
friend,
way out of that.
Yes.
My friend Travis, he's a comic, but he's also a fighter. He said the coolest statement where he's like, Max Holloway is like a shark in the water, but no one's been able to make Khabib bleed yet. So can the shark sniff it out? I was like, that's such a cool fucking statement.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Khabib's going to win, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's also crazy. The other cool thing is that somebody's having a huge win streak snapped still,
yeah,
which is
Yeah.
what was going to happen in the Ferguson fight as well. Unless there's a draw,
right.
which I
I
highly
wonder.
doubt.
I'm so curious. I'm interested to see the payouts for this one because I wonder how much Khabib's making per fight. I assume he's got to be in the upper echelon of the UFC right
Absolutely.
now. Me
Russia,
and actually, I was talking
150
about it
million.
with Shane yesterday, who is going to come on the podcast eventually. We're talking about payouts in MMA and how just he still hasn't booked a fight yet, Shane. And his Shane Burgos lost to Calvin Kattar, who's fighting this weekend. And he's like, yeah, it was fight of the night. And that week, Calvin had another fight, and they still haven't offered me another fight.
Weird.
He's like, it's just so weird how they pick and choose just
Yeah.
based off of criteria that nobody knows.
Well, it's I mean, you could tell that they're in the business of grooming stars, creating stars, and drawing in pay-per-view.
It's
dollars.
investments. It's an
Viewers,
investment. Yeah.
It's all about
Yeah,
viewership.
that's what I thought. But Shane, to me, is one of my favorite fighters. I mean, he got clipped in that fight, but Shane is still, that was his first loss ever.
But if you're thinking about popularity-wise, that's all that matters.
yeah.
I'm not talking about ability. I'm talking about popularity.
With that being said, though, I mean, I think the UFC now is so powerful where they could groom anyone they want into a star.
No, because not everybody has star power, personality-wise. You just don't. That's
You
like
got
saying
it, kid.
They're worried about
that's
a
like
lot of
saying
on-camera
Comedy
stuff.
Central can make anybody. If you know, what I mean? It's just like you got to have the ability.
Well, they made Pablo Francisco famous, so.
How dare you? One of the greatest Latino comedians of all time.
I would say one of the greatest sets of all time
Yeah.
because he's been doing the same set for 20
Amen.
years.
But it's all about star power with these
I hope
guys.
Pablo Francisco doesn't listen to this. I really love his Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Get down again.
It's nuts. Did you see we talked about previously to starting recording when Khabib and Artem got in a little altercation in the hallway.
Russian Hammer.
Russian
Yeah.
Hammer.
Which my whole life, as in the past year, I really thought was homage to his dick.
No, he comes down with a hammer.
Yeah, I really thought it was because he had a large piece.
I mean, hey,
He
whatever he's got is beautiful.
Khabib
I love,
really.
why is Artem doesn't have a right to be getting into a fight with Khabib?
I mean, yeah,
Artem has a losing
Khabib
record in
start
MMA.
it?
I kind of watched the video, but I wasn't listening. Like, the audio wasn't very good, so I don't know what. I think Artem called Khabib a pussy or something like that. And how dare you? I never say words like that.
Yeah.
It's just one of those like, you talking to me, me talking to you, and then
Yeah.
people are like, come on, let's all be adults, please.
I mean, Khabib had that interaction with Conor backstage. It was pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at 205? Yeah, it was
I-
because Khabib was on 205.
They called
Yeah.
him out after. How funny would that be if Khabib wins and then calls out Artem?
Like, all
Who
right,
is
fine.
literally a losing fighter.
Yeah.
They're gonna whoever wins. I mean, whoever wins is probably gonna face McGregor, right?
I would assume so if he comes back.
He
Like,
might
who's
just
to
not
say?
fight,
He might
dude.
just not
I
fight.
feel like if Holloway wins, McGregor could care less to come back to fight Holloway.
Yeah, but it's because I mean, just his mentality. It's all about whether or not he really wants to fight. If he still wants to fight, he'll want to fight Holloway because then Holloway will be the only other person besides him who's held 2 belts
Which
simultaneously.
is
also
very
think-
interesting that this could happen so quickly to in such short time between each other. Like,
Totally.
that's nuts.
Yeah, and it's like it's such a giant step for the UFC to allow Conor to do that, but he was already such a superstar at the time. Holloway's a superstar to us, but the public doesn't really know Max Holloway outside of Hawaii. Like
Right.
he's not that well known of a guy unless you're an avid MMA fan. So the fact that he'll be getting such a huge accomplishment if he beats Khabib and dethroning someone who's so highly regarded as Khabib is,
Yeah.
it'll be a major move for Max Holloway. It'll be so big for him, and you would got to think if McGregor's still interested in fighting in the UFC, that would be the next fight.
Yeah.
But if McGregor is really the guy he portrays himself to be, the fact that he's 1-1 against fucking whatever his name
No,
is,
Nate.
Nate is driving him crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If he comes back, I always thought he was going to come back for 2 more fights, 1 title fight and then 1 to finish the trilogy.
Yeah.
Walk out. I mean, because the UFC recently, I don't know if you saw, they recently did the whole series about the best fight of all time, and the fans picked Diaz
McGregor too.
I don't know if that's.
Whoa.
I mean, I guess name-wise, that was the best for that. But to me, that's not my favorite fight of all time.
What's your favorite fight of all time?
Of recent memory, it's Cub Swanson versus Doo Ho Choi.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
up
great
there.
one.
Was
That's a banger.
absurd.
Yeah.
I can't get the vision of his hair just getting whipped around Doo Ho and then still coming back. I mean, that was one of the most entertaining fights I've seen. Or I think it was maybe a year ago, Godbeer fought someone. A heavyweight filled in like last minute.
Oh.
And they just fucking scrapped it out for 3. I love a good heavyweight fight.
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
actually stand and swing.
Yeah.
I used to love Travis Brown because he would get rocked with like a pinky.
I would probably go with Diaz McGregor too as my favorite, just because of the hype leading up to it, how much animosity there was after the
The hype
bottle
was
throwing.
absurd. I
press
saw
conference.
that at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I had a show and then we went right there and we had to sneak in because it was too busy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, I think that's my favorite because of that hype, because of how much animosity there was with the bottle throwing incident, and the ups and downs throughout the
Forgot
fight.
about the bottle.
The fact that McGregor handled him those first 2 rounds, and then McGregor started to gas, Diaz started to kick his ass. Then McGregor catches a second win, but ends the fight on his back. I mean, the ups and downs throughout that, and it was such a brawl. The fact that it went the distance, how bloody they both were, the animosity beforehand, how well they both did in that fight, how close it was.
Yeah.
How there were multiple times when it felt like it was going to end for each guy. It seemed like each of them was going to close it out at a certain
So
point in
much
the fight.
passion for a fight that standings-wise really meant nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't really a title fight, was it?
No,
I can't remember.
It was a 170 fight.
It was essentially
from
an exhibition.
Well, again, it was a freak show, like one of those freak show
Yeah.
fights where you just go between, or you jump around from weight classes.
That's
I
the
still
thing.
don't know if it's. I could go back to video of early UFC and find fights that I enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, no one asked me, but my favorite fight is Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard 2.
I just
Oh,
assumed you were gonna
God,
answer. I
that's
think
such
that
a
got
good
voted
fight.
as number 3.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I
Such a good
screamed.
fucking fight.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that like comeback, those ups and downs that I'm talking about in the.
No, I'm sorry,
US
Gray Maynard 3, the one where Frankie gets the KO.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Well, the craziest thing is that those ups and downs I'm talking about that happened in Diaz McGregor too. Frankie for a while had those ups and downs in every one of his fights.
Everyone, yeah.
That's why everybody loves him so. He's like there are like probably 3 or 4 Frankie fights that could be on that list.
Yeah. He's the Rudy of MMA.
He really is.
He's something else.
yeah, he's
And now,
like a
he's
real life
fighting
Rocky
2
Balboa.
fucking
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm
do
so
you
excited.
think this is what I've been talking? I think if he wins, he retires maybe.
Oh, really?
'Cause
I mean,
it's in Jersey.
yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised.
No.
The fact that he took the fight that quickly in Jersey led me to believe that maybe he wants this to be a retirement fight.
I think he's the kind of guy who will tell you beforehand and be like, this will be my last fight.
Who's he fighting again?
Cub Swanson 2.
That's
Dude,
a
guys don't do that well in their hometowns.
That's a tough retirement fight too. Cub Swanson.
Not everybody, but like, there a lot of times the guy's big first fight in their hometown. Cerrone loses to Masvidal in Denver. Weidman loses in New York. Gets his head kneed open by Yoel.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous
Alright.
that they're trying to do this big bang, like
Right.
send him out.
Well, you
in
know what
his
I like
hometown
is
on
they
a-
usually never announce it's someone's last fight
No, that's a good move.
because they should just go out like a. I love the classic leave the rings in the octagon.
Yeah.
It's such a nice gesture until
Leave the
like-
gloves.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Did
And
uh,
then,
Like leave like the wedding ring. Like, oh hell
Did
yeah.
I say leave the rings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna party.
They get divorced.
Yeah. That's how you get divorced.
did you guys see the McGregor documentary on
I did.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's
I
great.
haven't watched it yet. Is it
So
good?
good, man.
Yeah, it's really
so
good.
Goddamn good. It's great.
Can I
It's,
remember years ago that documentary
being made.
no when it was a shorter one. So it was on Vimeo of him before he was in the UFC, like before anything. And it was like a
Yeah.
short little documentary about him being a up and coming fighter. And it was posted on Middle Easy. I remember seeing it years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Rhonda shot out Middle Easy last week.
Oh hell yeah.
Dropped it a bunch. She used to be a big supporter.
Yeah,
That's
because
great.
Lazy was on. Well, he used to be a writer, and he's like her personal photographer.
Shout out to
He
Ron.
was supposed to do
He
the
was supposed to do the
podcast.
podcast.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Aw.
He's
It
friends
didn't
with.
work.
Yeah, he couldn't get on. He's friends with Mike Harrington from.
That's
Cat
great.
City.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Harrington. Very
We
nice
gotta have
man.
Mike on. I also canceled an episode on him. He was
Oh.
supposed to come on, but the snowstorm happened.
We
The
love you,
snow's
Mike.
fucking. We'll get him on
We'll
this
have you.
spring.
So you thought. Sorry to.
No, please,
go
please, please.
backtrack, but you thought Alvarez would have been one of the better replacements?
logical replacements.
Logical
Looking
replacements.
going down the listings and like thinking about it that way.
Okay.
Until I realized that the Connor fights kind of make it a good argument for Max.
Yeah, I love Eddie, but and it does logically make sense. I just think Khabib would demolish him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
it's-
really think he would. I mean, Poirier basically beat Eddie recently. Eddie beat Gaethje, but it was a tough fight, and I just look at Khabib as so superior to all 3 of them.
right. Yeah, it would have been a really tough fight for Eddie, but you never know.
I do wonder if Holloway was number 1 on that list because on 6 days out, there's probably so many people who wanted it but had to say no.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it seems like Holloway was probably at the top of the list.
Probably. I mean, Eddie said he was
heard-
like,
I heard it wasn't even offered to McGregor,
oh,
but that's because
they probably want to. Yeah, they want to
they
like
don't
make
want it.
money
me and
off.
That's
Luke
what I
had
was saying.
texted about this that they
Oh, cool,
they
thanks.
want to hype it.
We hate you, dude.
We have a group text. My leg fell asleep. Sorry,
He's
I'm standing up.
now. He's about to kick us.
Yeah, he looked like he was gonna beat the shit out of us.
I just
Dan
do
and I
it.
both got terrified.
One person. I just take the mics from you. I'm like,
I
yeah, I'm
saw
gonna do
a
one more.
picture of Diego in a cage today.
Oh yeah, I did
Really?
a podcast
Yeah.
and they
You
posted a
look
picture. of me.
heavier,
I was way lighter.
lighter.
Way lighter.
Your
just
head
more
looked more
toned.
round.
My head was shaved.
Yeah, but it looks so round.
All right.
You
No,
look
I
like-
was
You look like
in
Arnold.
that photo. I was probably 145.
What
I'm
was your fighting
165. I didn't have a fighting nickname.
You're 165 right now.
Yeah.
So you're 20 pounds lighter.
Heavier. I was 20 pounds lighter. I'm heavier
Yeah.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever the math
I'm
is.
really good at math.
Dude, I love it. That's why I
Middle
definitely
Easy
fought in a cage.
Mathematics podcast.
But yeah, Dan and I were texting about the fact that they
Again, without Diego.
didn't hit, yeah, with that we were texting just the two of us.
I send too many nudes. That's why I get it.
Exactly. We were like, Diego, your dick's weird. No, it's talking about my bad about how McGregor, they didn't hit up McGregor for the fight because they want a proper promo and rollout.
Yeah,
you know,
makes
if they're going to
sense.
use McGregor, they want to make all that money. Dana's not stupid.
Again,
that's
this
why
was
Dana didn't
me
let
and
it
Luke
happen with
texting
Frankie.
about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard the whole thing.
That's why Dana didn't let it happen with Frankie, though.
Right.
You know, they want the proper McGregor rollout. This is another thing, a little off topic, but I don't like when people are like, McGregor doesn't fight, blah, blah, and they act like the hardcore MMA fans try to ignore the reality of this business. Where
Yeah.
it's like, this is star grooming. It's like, it's all about pay-per-view dollars. It's all about who
At
sells.
the end
It's
of the
all about
day,
who
it is
pulls.
still show business.
Totally, man.
Yeah,
and it's like
fair.
that's why McGregor's always going to get preferential treatment. You know, it's like you think about Khabib's a star, and Khabib has what probably, you know, if you could just go off like Instagram followers, Khabib probably has like a million, something like that.
Maybe. I mean, who's to say? Yeah.
Khabib's Instagram is actually pretty hot.
Yeah, it's like, and it's probably like a million, maybe a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And McGregor's is, I checked the other day, 22 million. Like his
That's
reach
more than
is
me.
just so insane. I know it's like almost as much as I have. It's a lot.
That's
But
good. Who's to say?
So it's show business. It's about grooming stars.
took a little break in the
Seamless.
podcast. That was a great
Seamless.
transition.
Seamless. Now they mentioned Seamless. West Bank Gourmet available to order on Seamless.
There you go. That's good.
Absolutely.
I mean,
There you
this
go.
will be our first sponsor. I'm so excited. A cool little thing happened to me.
What happened?
So I teach Gethard Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
I
Chris
saw
Gethard.
this, man.
And
Congrats.
thank you so much. I mean, that's cool as hell. He's a friend. But we did a session, and he's like, I'm going to go do the UFC podcast now. And he went to do the UFC podcast with Jim Norton and Matt Serra, and he gave me like a little shout out, and that's very
Oh,
it
nice.
was a
hell
cool
yeah.
shout out, man. I
That's
saw
pretty
that.
sick. I was like, okay, my man.
Wow. Now your
Um,
biggest UFC podcast credit is the UFC podcast.
Yeah.
It's not even us.
It's not
Yeah.
even me talking. It was just
Wow.
funny to hear Matt Serra's voice go like, yeah, I don't know who that is.
Oh, you should get Gethard on our podcast.
I'll try.
To talk about what it's like to be taught by you.
He's like, it's fine.
Now
But
that
I
you
really
have,
appreciate it. He's the best.
Now that you're in such good graces with Jim and Matt Serra.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
assume now you're just a few weeks away
We're
from
gonna
Judd
have-
Apatow producing your special.
Before that, we're going to have Diego get both of them on the podcast. for
Right.
us.
We're just going to go and sneak our recorders in while they're doing their podcast and just pull it out. Like, yeah, they're on the podcast. Fine.
Yeah, I figure like
That's
Dan and I will stay, and then Jim can take your mic, and then Matt Serra will sit on my lap. And, you know,
Oh,
I
that's
can
great.
share my
I'll
mic.
just tape the recorder onto my chest and be like, hey, can I come inside? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, thanks for doing the podcast. You heard it here first.
Oh,
I
fuck.
think my buddy Adam Gable, he's a comic. He has one of my favorite jokes where he goes, I want to do a survey about if people want to do a survey.
That's fun.
And he's like, I called the guy up. I was like, hey, do you want to participate in the survey? And he's like, no. And he's like, you already did.
Got him.
It's like such a Hedberg X joke.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Very much so. I mean,
It's
the
so
best.
hard to pay attention to this podcast when I have security footage right here.
I mean, I'm staring at it.
Yeah.
And these guys are doing a great job, let me tell you.
I don't like this guy's hat.
WrestleMania's happening this weekend, too. I'm not even.
Were you ever a wrestling fan?
When I was growing up, yeah. Big
Were
one.
you?
Oh, yeah.
I was the weird one where I knew the wrestlers and I bought their action figures, but I didn't actually watch wrestling.
You just kiss them?
No, I would just more aggressive. You can't play with wrestling figures without making it look like they're dry humping.
Sure. I mean, that's what
I
good
mean-
wrestling is.
Yeah, a lot of creativity goes into sex, what I'm trying to say.
Hey, man. Hey, man, when you're doing it right, huh?
I was a
it?
big action figure kid, but not wrestling. I was
Well,
a superhero.
Really?
guy.
I loved the
Oh.
Rey Mysterio.
He's my favorite wrestler.
I loved his mask.
That's sick. He's the best. I like how he has to wear baggy pants now because of
Does
all
he
his
still
knee
wrestle?
braces. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, man, these guys don't give it up.
It's almost like it's a bad career.
Yeah. As we
It's almost
talk-
like it's
as we sit in a deli storage room doing a podcast.
yeah.
that you
Hey,
used to sleep in.
Yeah, that I used to sleep. This is literally my first apartment in Manhattan.
not bad.
So what do you
Better
guys
than
think of Covington RDA? They
I
just made that
really,
fight.
I think I speak for every UFC fan.
Oh, right.
here, where we want Covington to lose.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
He's
for
the
sure.
most unlikable person the MMA has had in a long. The
yeah,
UFC's
he's a
had
real
in a long time.
fuckface.
Yeah.
It
He has
is
no
interesting.
redeeming qualities.
It's in Brazil, and the UFC is gonna have to have like they were saying they're gonna have like extra security for Colby, and they have to like make sure they ensure his safety and all.
Whose
that stuff.
wife did he
Jesus
call a
Christ.
horse-faced cunt?
Mike Perry.
Mike Perry.
Jesus Christ, sir.
Yeah,
Turn
he's-
it. That's the thing. Is like
At least
when
just stop at horse face or cunt.
Yeah, like no, not both. Like when people can't play inside the lines, it's just like, come on, what are you doing, man? We're obviously gonna like, like get mad at each other and insult each other, but it's like tone it back a little bit.
Didn't he
Jesus,
also get hit with a
boomerang.
boomerang?
Yeah, Verdum hit him with a
Verdum.
boomerang, and then Verdum called him a homosexual slur in
Yeah.
Spanish.
Verdum's pretty good at that, though. Verdum
I-
calls so many people homosexuals that I'm gonna take a guess and say he's gay.
Is that how it works?
I mean, I think there's a good chance Covington wins that fight as much as I hate him.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
That's what blows my mind is that he is a good fighter.
He would have more
Doesn't need
fans.
to talk like this. He would have a great fan base.
He's doing it because he wants to gain more attention and get
He's
get
essentially
booked
a
more, which he
shock
kind of
comic.
does, dude. He kind of does. You're crazy if you think it doesn't. Covington compared to whoever a random person is at 170. Name a random
I don't want to.
Yeah, whatever. Carlos Condit. Like something like that. Like if Condit was fighting RDA,
How is
in
Carlos
Brazil-
Condit a random one? So he's a legend.
No, he's a legend. But I think Colby Covington right now fighting RDA in Brazil generates more attention than even someone as great and as
Wow.
well known as Condit.
Okay.
Like I really think Colby draws like that because
I really think he's
made
just a
himself into a
shock
villain.
comic.
He is a shock comic, but the shock comic sells.
takes one to know one. I'm defending someone I don't like.
I'd like his octagon name just be Dead Baby Joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Kobe,
Yeah,
Dead
yeah.
Baby Joke.
Exactly.
The,
Abortion joke.
shock comics can sell though.
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking.
He's the Jeselnik of UFC.
Mm-hmm.
no, he wishes.
He wishes, yeah. No, it's I don't know. I think it's a good fight.
You
but
think if he beats RDA, is he gonna face Woodley? Is that the next match?
I think
Woodley that's what the
beats
next-
both of them.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree to that for sure.
I like Woodley, and I like the fact that everybody hates Woodley,
that's
but
what
he's
I like
too
about
good, and he's
Woodley.
he's gonna just continue being the champion for now. I don't
My
see
favorite
anybody
thing about
beating him in
Woodley
that
is that
division.
people hate him
Yeah,
because he just knows how to fight, and people hate him for it.
yeah, absolutely. Well, the other thing is right now, not that he's invincible, but I don't see any of the people at 170 beating him right now. So he's gonna be. I think he's gonna have that belt for a while.
Yeah.
and people are gonna keep hating it.
I just hate him because he bought his mom a house. Buy me a house. I want a house. Why can't I get a house? I'm way hotter than his mom. All right.
You heard it
That's
here.
why.
Diego's hotter than Woodley's mom. I was gonna say that'd be the podcast episode title, but that's
It's
a long
just
title.
too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll think
It's
of a
too
shorter.
long. There we go.
There. No.
does
Please
everyone
don't let
always
that.
says
Be,
No,
It's
yeah,
not-
that'd be a terrible. That's terrible advertising for the podcast.
I'm not listening to this episode. It's too long.
Episode 13. It's too long.
It's episode 14. That's when you guys are paying attention.
I didn't know he
They're like 2
numbered them.
minutes in. They hear us
to be
talk
honest,
about.
there's been some that is deleted.
Oh,
so
nice.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
just
2
gonna-
minutes in. They're like, it's too long. It's not that long of a podcast. It's only like an hour long, and like 2 minutes in, we're talking about Artem Lobov's dick. And
You're
like,
like,
oh,
oh,
okay.
I get it.
The,
Emotionally
not
too long.
just it's the Russian Hammer. Let's not just.
Yeah. Good point. That's fair.
I remember I heard a Ralphie May joke today, which I never realized because it was like a just filler.
Uh-huh.
He was like, I was at a gay wedding and they had a trans singer,
Mm-hmm.
and the singer's penis fell out of his pants and it was like gigantic. And he was next to his son, and his son goes, "Daddy, that transgender person has a big pee-pee."
Mm-hmm.
And Ralph goes, "Nah, son, we got pee-pees. That's a dick." Like, that's such a good joke.
Oh man, I'm glad he's dead.
The best one was this was when he was on This Is Not Happening.
No?
And underneath it, some guy was like, "It's a shame you only have 6 months to live." And then he died
Oh.
6 months after the comment.
Jesus Christ! Why did the Grim Reaper have a YouTube channel?
R.I.P. I love.
Have you
Ralphie.
guys seen the Cobra? I mean, this is kind of on topic. The Cobra Kai YouTube series trailer.
Oh my
No.
god, I've heard about.
It
This.
looks so depressing.
Yeah,
Why, what's going on?
They remade the Karate Kid for a YouTube series
which is depressing in itself.
in itself.
Yeah.
But I thought the beginning of the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is an interesting take.
Yeah.
Where Danny is like a used car dealership owner, and he's like working off of his fame, and he's like, "Come to Danny LaRusso Autos," and it cuts to Johnny, who's now kind of like a piece of shit a little bit. Like he seems like, not homeless, but he seems like kind of like
Yeah.
scummy. And I thought the angle they're going to take, which I was excited for, was that like LaRusso's now the bad guy and Johnny's a good guy. And Johnny's going to help this kid learn how to fight. But then it turned into like Danny's going to come back and have his own dojo. Like, I thought it was going to be really gutsy and cool if they're like, no. Danny was the bad guy the whole time. Because if you watch The Karate Kid, Danny is kind of the bad guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's the one that hits on the girl when he knows she has a boyfriend. He's the one that puts the hose into the like. He always kind of instigates and gets
Totally.
away with it.
Yeah.
This is literally the entire character arc of Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother.
Another show I don't watch.
Yeah, every episode was him describing to his friends how Danny was the evil person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I did not invent theory. I definitely
who
saw it.
played the bad guy?
The Johnny character.
Zap.
Imagine if we just started ripping off How I Met Your Mother jokes.
Yeah, I'm like,
Billy Zabka.
I don't. I mean, sure.
He was he was on every season of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really?
That was like his big comeback.
That's very funny. No, I
yeah,
didn't
we
watch
just start
that.
ripping off sitcoms.
I mean,
Next week is Everybody Loves Raymond.
a great show.
We're gonna just have a.
Oh, did
comic
you
on
watch-
Deborah?
The Gary Shandling documentary.
No, but I've heard it's amazing.
Oh man, very long. It's 2 parts. I think 5 hours in total.
Each part.
No, in
I
total.
know you said in total, but the question was already in my head.
It was solid, though?
That's good.
Dude, yeah, phenomenal. He's a legend, and like it only makes you appreciate him more. And like
And he's dead.
and he's dead. And there was a moment, and my roommate and I, Mike, were talking about this in the green room with Paul Provenza.
Yes.
So
Great show.
I think it boils down to what kind of person he is in a
His
moment.
episode's amazing.
So Bo Burnham talks about his first YouTube comment
Yeah.
was "Go gadget faggot," and Gary starts about to talk, and Paul cuts him off and goes, "I meant that in a positive way." And Mark also does a bit too. I can't remember what line he says.
Yeah.
And then they turn to Gary and like, we kind of cut you off on the turn there. And he goes, "Hey, it's fine as long as someone said the joke." And it's like, "Oh, that's perfect."
Yeah.
You just want there to make sure nothing goes unsaid. As long
Yeah.
as the audience, as long as the room, the moment got the joke, he was happy with that. And it's like, what a selfless way of doing comedy, because it's very unlike us.
Yeah.
We want to be the one to make the
Totally.
joke.
And he was just
Dude.
like, did you ever see his episode of Comedians in Cars?
40 times.
When he's telling the story about how, he's just starting to make money. He's in a store buying some nice clothes, and the kid comes up to him. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Shandling, I'm a big fan. Can I ask you a question?" Gary goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I just moved here to L.A. to be a comic." And he's like, "Now that I met someone who's actually, big like you, I just want to ask you, like, what's the secret? How did you guys cut the corners to make it?" And Gary was just like, "There's no secret.
Yeah.
You just have to eat the shit."
Yeah.
There's no, and he's like, that's the difference between a comic, is you go into it knowing that there's no secret, and there never will be a secret. And then he goes, "That's what I love about comedy, is that there will never be a shortcut to comedy."
Yeah.
And
I mean, other
that
than
shit was pretty powerful.
I loved it.
When him and
his-
Jerry are just sitting in the parking lot of the Comedy Store,
That's
it's so
amazing.
powerful.
The other thing, that episode, same episode of the Green Room with Paul Provenza, there's a point where Ray Romano goes, talks about his dad. "Oh, my dad never hugged me," blah blah blah. And he goes, and then he makes a joke. It's a good joke. He goes, "My dad did hug me once, and I remember looking back, I realized what was so weird about it. It was the nudity." and then Marin goes, "My dad used to hug me and whisper in my ear, I don't want to live anymore." And that gives a real laugh. And Shandling doesn't even sit up. He doesn't lean into the joke. He goes, "My mom used to tuck me in and she would say, 'Fuck me, honey.'"
Which, if you watch a documentary, is so much funnier because you realize how much Gary's mom's attraction to Gary kind of influenced his
overbearing
comedy.
Oh,
Jewish
that's a
mother.
real.
Yeah,
that's
like
a
it's a
thing.
real thing where like she wanted to marry, like it's a real thing in his life. It's
Wow,
like
that's so
that
weird.
made. I mean, yeah,
She wanted to
it's kind of a
marry him?
Jewish mother thing apparently. Like she wanted to be like not, she didn't like say it, but it's like her like that's kind of how it was in the house. And it's like it's very interesting.
So it's a not a serious. It's like a custom where Jewish mothers will have an attraction to their sons.
I don't know if
sometimes.
custom is the right word, but it's like a thing, I guess, in the culture
It's
where
not
it's like,
uncommon in Jewish culture.
yeah, I guess that's the safest way, agreeable way to say it.
Tradition is that the mom sits on the son's face.
On the Sabbath, that's very funny.
Yeah.
My mom, she.
But that's what I loved about
sits on my
Gary was
face.
that
Don't cross the line, you son of a bitch. Not in this podcast.
That's what I loved about
damn, this
Shandling
hurts.
was that, like you said, he just sat into the joke. It was like he never seemed like he was rushing towards it, but he always got in the joke that was really strong.
Yeah.
Like you could tell it was always working, but he never had to convince you it was working.
Yeah, exactly.
He was
exactly.
just a really strong. I'm excited to watch it because literally every comedy podcast I listen to has brought it up this week.
I can't think of a better story of starting comedy than his, where he went to go see what's his name?
Carlin.
Carlin, and he just
Yeah.
gave him material. And he's like, "Well, I write my own. There's something funny on every page.
Yeah,
Continue.
Carlin
You should
told
do
him
it."
to come back the next
Yeah.
day, and he
Yeah.
did. And Carlin read all the bits,
It's crazy.
and then he just goes, "I'm not going to use this, but yeah." do
Keep
it."
going. Like how? If you quit when someone of that level tells you should continue, like, whoa, that's got to be
I wonder
crazy.
if that's why Carlin did it. If he's like, if this kid's real comic, he knows I just gave him a life sentence.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But
Louis did that for me.
did really?
Yeah.
No shit, I didn't know
Whoa.
that.
He read
I
your
never told
notes?
you this.
No, please tell me.
So Joe List brought him to my show in Boston, and he came.
We're
and
talking
did the
about
show.
Louis Katz, of course.
Love Louis Katz. Love his girlfriend. She's very nice to me.
We're talking about Louis Anderson. Anyway, so I was in Boston with Louis J. Gomez,
That
and
story becomes so much funnier if it's Louis
no,
Anderson.
so it's Louis C.K. and Joe List was opening for him at the Wang Theater, and Joe List came to do my show, my bar show. It was like a free show in the weekday, and it would always pack out. And Joe came by to do it, and he texted me on his way there, and he said, "I'm bringing
McGreevy's?
McGreevy's."
Oh,
And
yeah, what a place.
he texted me on the way there, and he said, "I'm bringing Louis. He wants to do a spot if that's all right." And I was like freaking out.
Of course.
And so it's like packed down there, and I go up. Louis walks in, like right at the beginning of my set, and he's 6 feet away from me, like on the side of the stage, staring at me my entire set, watching me. But in my head,
Stroking his cock.
I thought like, there's no way he's paying attention. 'Cause
Right,
he's
right.
been
Yeah.
doing comedy for over 30 years. Why the fuck would he care about
Yeah.
some
You
would assume
kid?
it's in one ear, out the
Well,
other.
yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, exactly. I was like, he doesn't give a shit. So then Joe comes up after me, kills 20 minutes. Louis does like a half hour of all this
Wow.
material, kills after that. And then afterwards, we were in this like little, it was almost like a
Did
storage
he do the hotel
closet.
laundry bit?
No, yeah, he did. He did. He's prepping his most recent SNL set, and but he didn't say that. But there's a moment afterwards. It was just Joe and Louis and me, the three of us, in this little like storage closet, like drippy space behind the stage. Just the three of us. And Joe introduced me to Louis, and he was like, "Louis, this is Luke," And I was like, "Oh, thank you for doing my show, man." And he's like, "Oh yeah, thanks for having me, man." And he was like, "You're real funny. I really liked your set. Like, keep going." And I still thought he was blowing smoke up my ass.
Yeah.
And dude, he started naming this is an hour after I did a set. Naming specific bits and tagging them. He's going, "Dude, that thing about your dad, that erectile dysfunction story." He's like, and he goes, "You do a gutsy set, you take a lot of chances on stage, and it's great, and you're doing a great thing." And he said, "It's going to take you longer to get to a mainstream level of success, but you're going to be better for it once you're there because you're taking these risks at this point." It was like
Damn.
That's great, dude.
craziest shit
That's so
ever.
sick.
That's
And apparently Chappelle
did that to Bill Burr.
Yes, and my
Yeah.
buddy sent me that like a week later. He was like, "Dude, like Bill Burr had like a similar
Yeah,
interaction with
Chappelle literally told him it's gonna take you longer to hit, but when you do, it's gonna be big.
Yeah,
That's
it was
great.
like, dude, it was, and that kept me going
The
through
best,
like
the
50
best feedback I've got
bombs.
from headliners is just you're a fucking hack. So I've never had the.
Yeah,
you're
Noah
gonna-
Garden Schwartz told me to quit comedy. No, I'm just kidding. Noah's very nice. That's so sick, dude. I love that.
It
That's
was-
so sick.
Yeah, it was like the best thing
That's
in my life.
that's enough that'll just keep you going forever.
Dude, it kept me going through like there's so many like nice you're like,
See, I'm
this
such a
sucked, this
comedy
show's-"
nerd that I'm such a big fan of comedy that I convince myself of those stories to me with people who probably weren't deserving of them.
Oh.
Like just because I've been like I was a fan of DC Benny as long as I can remember,
Uh-huh.
and like when DC Benny took an interest in what I was doing, like in my head I was like, you're doing comedy forever now,
Right.
Like to the normal person, they'd just be like, who's DC Benny?
Sure, but
Like even recently, there's this new show in New York called 1308. And
I've done it
DC
twice.
Have you really?
No, man, I don't do fucking shit.
It's free food and it's really good. And DC was headlining it, and I went up before him. And DC's this type of guy who's like, Louis, where I did the Hoboken Festival with DC, and he got there 30 minutes before the show, met all the comics, and then sat down and watched every comic set. But at this specific show, he was closing it out, and I went up before him. And when I got off stage, he was like, "That new stuff's killing, man." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "Just make me a promise." I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "In 2 years, just let me be your opener."
That's
I was
sweet.
like, "Yeah."
That's so
but
nice,
No,
man.
can I please still open for you? I need money, dude.
He DC does a ton of new material, man. He's
Yeah.
done my show a couple times.
He's the best storyteller in the city.
It's
and
really unbelievable.
It's a,
He'll do like an 8-minute story and like
and he
work
doesn't
it
care
out.
about the laughter. He knows that the ending, people are gonna laugh. He works through the silence.
I've never and he keeps the audience so compelled throughout those silences, and he'll go a while without a laugh because he's working out a new story, and then he'll just kill. All of a sudden, he'll just have some great tag, and it's like to hold the audience's attention in the way that DC does throughout those, like, he's trying to see which details of the story are funny, which aren't, and the funny ones still hit no matter how long he's gone without a laugh. You have to have such a compelling stage presence to keep people on board for that
And
long.
he does the classic old comic mic hold where it's like it's just stuck in the palm of their thumb. You're like, how are they even holding it right now? But it's the Seinfeld. Seinfeld does it. Where it looks like a magic trick.
Yeah.
Which is funny because comedy is a magic trick.
Hey, look at that.
What an ending to the episode.
What a beautiful episode. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Yeah, hey, thank you.
What should we hashtag them?
Before we hashtag, let's read off. We got another review.
Oh, thank you. I forgot about
Also,
that.
I think we should bring it up on the podcast. I don't know if you remember, Luke, but I was supposed to headline a club in Boston, and I was going to bring you with. We should just do a whole fisting weekend. The three of us should just go up to Nick's together.
I think that's a great idea.
Dude, I'm down. That's in August.
Let's do it.
I mean, you're the headliner, so I was going to feature if you want to.
I think we should just
all
all go up together.
I'll host or do we'll guest whatever you want. What the
And then you have friends in Boston. I have friends. We'll put a guest spot or two and just make a fun.
Dude,
time
that'll
of
be
it.
such a good time.
I think that's a
we
great
could
time.
probably even go a few days early and hit like McGreevy's.
I'll
and
get us some shows
Cityside.
around it. Yeah, we'll do a whole little thing.
That sounds fake.
Yeah, so
Middle
we'll
Easy
go-
fans in Boston.
Middle
Represent.
Easy fans. We're gonna be in
Boston Middle
draw
Easy. That'll
some
be the
people out.
hashtag.
Boston.
Boston Middle Easy.
Guys, thank you so much for giving us ratings and reviews on iTunes. We keep mentioning it, but it really does help. And thank you for keep tweeting at us.
Yeah.
We get the tweets. It's cool.
That was
seeing
really
the love.
sweet. Yeah, we got that one tweet
Yeah,
that kind of like
and it was
about
real
shitting
nice,
himself or something. I don't know.
We got
it did turn
we got
into-
another review, and it's a very pro Dan Lamort review. It's
boy.
the title is a 5-star podcast. It's from Gil0270.
How many family members do you
Dan
have?
is awesome. Dan is awesome. Great podcast. Dan is awesome. Dan, this is your mother speaking. We think it's time you go back to sleeping in the break room at the deli. No. This is from Gil0270. 5-star podcast. Dan is awesome. Great podcast and a great Twitter feed.
That's right.
So he's a big fan.
Oh wow! And they commented on the Twitter feed.
They love the
Which,
Twitter
by the
feed.
way, my Twitter feed is fire half the time.
It won't stop.
It doesn't stop.
So
That's
guys,
because you got to get through a lot of shit to get to the good stuff.
yeah, keep giving us those 5-star reviews. Keep giving us
hashtag
the
Boston Middle
ratings.
Easy's heavy. Let's do
Little heavy? Okay.
Let's just do hashtag the hammer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hashtag the you want hashtag hammer?
Yeah. I mean, a little more specific probably, but whatever.
Hashtag-
I mean, Waco
hammer
was the last
or
one.
penis.
Hashtag hammer.
Hammer or penis. That's perfect. Yeah. Hammer or penis.
Yeah, hashtag
as one
hammer
word.
or penis.
As one hashtag.
Yeah,
God
at,
bless
at
you.
all three of us and at Middle Easy. Hashtag hammer or penis. Tweet it at Fight Fist Pod and at Middle Easy. And if it's a good time to plug our shit, if you want to do that.
Yeah, Diego, any fun?
This Diego Lopez. Just you. Yeah, I follow the podcast Twitter. That's what I want.
Yeah, the
at
podcast.
this
at Fight
podcast-
Fist
At
Pod.
Fight
I'm
Fist
gonna do a
Pod.
big giveaway this Saturday for the fights.
Okay. I'm
Probably
gonna.
like a
Perfect.
Jose Aldo autograph or something.
Okay.
cool.
I'll
That's awesome.
We do fake autographs.
That's
That's
so
fun. That's
funny.
funny
They
as
don't know that
itself.
we have this whole.
Yeah. We're gonna
forgery
give away the
operation.
Sade.
Stanhope takes hotel Bibles from every hotel. He goes to autographs them and then sells them as merch after his show.
It's
Yeah.
genius.
It's amazing.
I love that shit.
Thank you so much, guys. We love you so much.
Yeah.
At,
Bye.
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
love
yeah.
you. Oh, at Luke Tuma on Twitter, LUKETOUMA, at Luke.Tuma on Instagram. Come do Too Many Cooks at Lucky Jack's every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Oh,
Nick
shit.
Mullen's going to be on if you guys are Come Town
Oh.
fans.
Who isn't a come to?
I am your necklace and reckless host, Dan Lamort. Nothing that I'm in May 22nd to 27th. I'm doing headlining 9 shows at Zanies in Chicago.
Wow.
So please come because that's way too many tickets for me to sell. I could probably sell out one show and that's it. So let's figure out how to get
Yeah.
you people in for 9.
Zany, Chicago, home of the Chicago Zany sandwich or something.
Yeah. All right,
Bye.
guys.
Guys,
Hashtag
Papa out.
Send
hammer
nudes.
or penis.
Hammer or
Hammer or
penis.
penis.